Continuing our look through the Big Ten. Got Oregon today, I guess, to close out the show, and we've been making some progress after just, getting away from it basically for like a week and a half. So here we are, and we're getting closer to the end of the Big Ten, and I'll get right to it because we are a little bit short on time here. So here is the Oregon schedule, and again, not a big preview or prediction, just taking a look and getting a better idea of kind of what everybody's looking at this year. Obviously, if we were doing a preview or prediction, we'd get into the fact that Evan Stewart's apparently going to be lost for most of the year, if not the entire year. That news coming out today, that's obviously a bummer, but the Ducks coming off of a big-time season a year ago, college football appearance, playoff appearance, and obviously disappointment that they couldn't take it to a different level, but as close to a team as you can find that hasn't won a national championship yet, that's knocking on the door of a national championship. And so when that day comes, if it ever comes, they will have certainly earned it because they will have come so close so often, and that will be a big damn deal for the Ducks. Is that this year? I don't think so, but they are a primary reason why the college football playoffs are already getting blown up and changed as far as the seeding goes. They were the big example A last year when they got the wrong end of the seeding process. So what does 2025 look like for the Ducks? Well, it starts off let me get to the right year here. Starts off at home on Saturday, August the 30th against Montana State on a Big Ten Network. Saturday, September 6th, got Oklahoma State in a nice little non-conference game there on CBS. So Big 12, you want to talk and you want more respect and you want this and you want that. Oklahoma State beating Oregon would be a very nice opportunity to go and earn some of that. So you would expect the Ducks will be favorites at home. To what degree, I don't know, but at least an interesting non-con there. Then they start to get into Big Ten play, as on Saturday, September the 13th, they will go to Chicago or to Evanston. Is it Evanston? Northwestern. Yeah, Evanston. For some reason, I was doubting myself there, but go check out Northwestern there in week number 3, their first road trip. And then they come back to close out their non-conference schedule, and it will be the Civil War against the Pac-12's Oregon State. That bitter rivalry on Saturday, September the 20th. A rivalry already bitter, but just even increased that much more so based on what's happened the past couple of years. And Oregon State feeling left behind, and obviously the future of the rivalry overall, those questions about it. So will be good to see those two teams play there in week number 4 and should be pretty heated. And there you go. There is their first 4 games, but still haven't hit a bye. One more until they do. Saturday, September 27th, on the road at Penn State, and which is already being labeled as a primetime game over on NBC and Peacock. And then they finally get that first bye weekend here. So a 5-game start to the season for Oregon. Montana State at home, Oklahoma State at home, at Northwestern, Oregon State at home, at Penn State. That's kind of salty. Like, that's not a bad start as far as just competition and things of interest and conference play mixed with non-con. Like, that's a pretty interesting first 5 weeks for the Oregon Ducks.
Montana State, a very good FCS school. I mean, they've had a lot of success. Oklahoma State, we don't really know about right now. They're
it's a name though.
But it's Mike Gundy. I mean, like, just when you think that Gundy's done, he finds a way. This is going to be the biggest climb he's ever had to make, though. So we'll see about that. Northwestern, obviously, then your third week, you're in the conference season. Then you have to jump right back out of that and play your bitter rival. Then after that, you've got to go on the road to one of the toughest places in America to play and play Penn State in a rematch of the Big Ten championship game. That's tough. That's really, really, really tough.
Yeah, it is, and I would think that there's a good chance that could be a whiteout game there, that Penn State game. We'll see on how that goes, but I think that's a possibility there. So after all that, after Civil War and night game at Penn State and Oak State in the non-con, they get into their first bye week and return on Saturday, October the 11th. It's not all Saturdays, though. They do have a Friday game late in the year, but until then, Saturday, October the 11th, they get Indiana. at home there in Eugene. See if Signetti and crew are up to the same level they were last year, but they're going to be improved or just be in comparison to what you regularly think about Indiana. That narrative has certainly changed based on the last year. So that's a game that maybe you just kind of gloss over previous years, and now you're like, well, damn, Indiana might actually be pretty tough. Saturday, October 18th at Rutgers. Saturday, October 25th, you will be at home against the Wisconsin Badgers. And then they get their second break in here, their final bye week before they get into a 4-game stretch in the month of November. So pretty balanced schedule as far as the bye weeks, and nothing funky like you play a game, you get 2 weeks off, and then you play 8 in a row or something like that. It's pretty evened out here with, 5 games, a break, 3 games, and then a break, and then 4 games to close it on out. But, yeah, Indiana at home, Wisconsin at home, Rutgers on the road, sandwiched in between here. And I guess a lot of this will be tricked up by whatever they do in that first wave of the stretch of the season. How did the Penn State game go? How did the Oregon State game, Oklahoma State games go? And then, this second part will be interesting because I don't really know what to expect from any of those 3 teams. Yeah. I mean, they could all be good. They could be somewhere in the middle. They could be down. I know that's like everything, but truly, I don't know how good Wisconsin is going to be. I don't know how good Rutgers is going to be, and I know Indiana, like I said, will be a better Indiana than we've come to expect. But are they a playoff level Indiana? We'll see right there in the middle of the season.
Yeah, that's and then you coming off the bye, and then whatever happens with Penn State, that's going to be an interesting, probably a little shift in their season, depending on how that goes. Where you can carry it along. And again, they're Oregon. I don't think that this is going to be a team that's going to lose 4 games, but hell, you never know. I mean, college football is wilder than it's ever been. So, if they come off and go to Beaver Stadium and win the game, then I think that it doesn't really matter who these 3 teams are. They're probably on quite the roll, but they've got a tough, rival, presumptive number 1 team in the country by a lot of people, bye week, Indiana. That's a 3-game stretch that's really tough.
So then to the final month of the season, they will be back after that Wisconsin game. They will be on the road November the 8th against the Iowa Hawkeyes. So head into Iowa City, then back home for a Friday night game. So you'll have one less day of preparation as you will play on that Friday night, that Fox game against the Minnesota Golden Gophers there in Eugene. Saturday, November 22nd, USC at home, and then they close it out on Saturday, November 29th with a road trip to Seattle to take on the rival Washington Huskies. So at Iowa, Minnesota, USC at home, and then at Washington, how they will close things out. So pretty interesting travel schedule if you're the Ducks. If you can go to the Chicago area, right? You can go to Happy Valley, go up to the New Jersey area, Iowa City, and then also up to Seattle. So this is the new Big Ten where you're kind of all over the map, literally West Coast to East Coast, and they're going to get a little taste of all of it.
They want one of those old-timey suitcases with stickers on it.
Yeah.
That's what they'll need. Look, Minnesota, I think, is always going to be kind of a tough team to play because of PJ Fleck and their style. Iowa, offensively, I'm really very interested to see what they turn into this year. And then, USC and Washington back-to-back. If USC's improved, if Washington's improved, that's a tough 4-game stretch to end it. And if they come through that fairly unscathed, they're still probably going to be a playoff team and one of the best teams in the country. But this schedule could get and that's how college football goes, but this schedule could get really hard real fast for them.
It could. They're at 10.5 wins. Last I looked on the over-unders. And so that would mean that you're looking at the fact of, are they going to lose a couple games on this schedule? I think you can see the possibility. Penn State on the road is obviously going to be really tough, and then there's always the potential for trap games, but they do have some road trips that could get dicey. We'll see on that, but there's your schedule. You do miss out on, let's see, you have no back-to-back road games at all. As I mentioned earlier, it's pretty evenly split into 3 parts, but you have no Michigan. You have no Ohio State. So you get neither one of those teams. No Nebraska, no Illinois, who was pretty good last year, no Michigan State, no UCLA, no Purdue. Those are the bulk of the teams that they will not see. So some of those, like, okay, well, you don't play Purdue, so what? That's a game you feel like you're gonna win regardless. But I mean, they got a new coach, right? So you don't know what maybe you're missing out on. But certainly not playing Michigan or Ohio State. That's pretty significant to miss both of those. And welcome to your 18-team conferences, if you're wondering how that can happen. So I don't know how many Big Ten teams get the same missing of both of those schools, but Oregon does. So we'll see if that plays into their favor. And there is their 2025 schedule as they try to make it back to the college football playoff, and as they try to further establish themselves in this new Big Ten conference that, much like a lot of other teams last year, they just walked into their new conference and just won that bad boy right out of the gates. Arizona State did it. Texas nearly did it. Oregon did it last year. So, we'll see if they can add on to that and make it 2 in a row.
All right. It is time for the top 5.